Good morning, everybody. We've got another big week of production in the shop ahead of us. We've got more improvements to make, like finishing off that ink shelf system that we started, and we've had some big changes within the team itself. So I guess the first thing that I need to address is that Savvy no longer works here, which is honestly a good thing for everyone. Now, this isn't something I'm gonna get super into detail on because really it's nobody's business, but sometimes what you guys see on camera versus what we see when the cameras aren't running are very, very different, and this is definitely one of those cases. She started off as an absolute killer of an employee. I've talked about it in podcasts and stuff that I've done in the past year or so and whatever, and she was killing it when she first got here, but things kind of took a turn over the past little while, and things just weren't meshing anymore. And as a boss, this is something that I've been aware of for a while, something I've been on top of, trying to have conversations about, trying to fix, and at the end of the day, you can only really do so much. So it's really kind of best for her, best for us, best for everyone if just we all parted ways. So that's just a quick update on that. Hopefully she does well in whatever she moves on to. As for us in the shop, I thought this was gonna be, kind of a hit for us because we are so far behind on production, and being down a person obviously isn't gonna help that, but we found a replacement for her basically immediately, I think like the same day or the next day, who you will be meeting very, very soon. So we're not really gonna skip a beat. Things are gonna be moving along here as usual. Let's get in there and get to work. You can start on the screens for these right now because him and I have to go film inside the garage anyway. We got to film the laser, so we're going to make all the dividers for that bad boy. Oh, once those are done,
yep.
Then we will do that shelf and get organized, which I think is going to take a while.
You haven't started cutting any of them?
Oh, I cut a bunch of them already.
Oh, okay. So we gotta say, because it's like an hour a sheet.
Yeah, it's like
right?
an hour a sheet. So I cut like 4 or 5 sheets over the weekend. So we only got like 2 or 3 left. So we can do that as we're doing other stuff now.
Yeah.
And then figuring out the organization system. Like I think we're just gonna have to take all the stuff off that shelf by color and like put them in like piles on the floor, like all the blues, yellows, oranges, reds, whatever. Write down every single thing we have and then figure out how it's gonna go back in there. Okay. And then print a crap load of labels. A lot of them.
All right.
So I think that's gonna be a big job. So yeah,
cool.
Get done.
Go team, go. Whoa! What is that?
What is this guy?
Power Rangers.
Let me see that.
He told me this morning. He came. He's like, dress for the job you want.
Dress for the job you want. I am Lee Stuart.
Wish.com version. So that laser's gonna be running for a little while. We have 3 or 4 more sheets of that stuff to cut. So in the meantime, we're gonna move on to a banner that I have to make. This is a contract job for another shop. We do a little bit of contract work doing screen printing, embroidery, printed graphics for a select few shops. And then I have some transfer style graphics to make that are gonna go on 3 or 4 of my customers' work trucks. And it sounds like they're gonna bring 1 or 2 of them over here today so that I can install them. This thing is so slow cutting wood. I don't know what we're gonna do for the next little while. I got an idea. we got to take a quick little break from what we were doing back there because we just got a delivery. Some brand new equipment is showing up right now, and I am super excited for it. So I didn't anticipate how gigantic this equipment is. Crate number 1 barely got through the door. Crate number 2, we're gonna have to do some serious math / Tetris to get this thing in the shop because it is huge. We are packed in here now. These crates are gigantic. Super stoked to open these things up. We're not gonna do that in this video though. These things deserve their own video because they are some absolute game changer equipment for the shop that are gonna take us up to the next level. Plus, we gotta get back to work because we got a truck showing up here that we gotta stick some graphics on. All right, so our customer showed up for the install. A little bit of miscommunication between, there's a couple different business owners. One was here for install on the side windows of some regular pickup trucks. So we measured for the pickup trucks, but we have a Denali to do here, and that one is obviously not a pickup truck. And just the way we have this set up, it doesn't really work on that back window. It looks weird. It's too big and whatever. So what we're gonna do is kind of just take their logo, deconstruct it, move a few pieces around, and make some nice like long graphics to go along the bottom side of that window, and it should look pretty good. So it'll take me a couple minutes to just whip up a few new ones. He's just gonna hang out here while we make these and install them as soon as they come off the cutter. All right, that was absolute chaos here in the shop for a little bit. That huge delivery full of equipment showed up, 3 customers showed up, and that truck showed up all at the same time, which was stressful. But we got the truck done, it's out of here, everyone else is out of here, so we're ready to move on. Let's jump on that shelf finally. It's crazy how long it took us to get to the shelf, by the way, because it's what, like 3:30 now? We've burnt the whole day. Sometimes things just don't go smoothly in here, and it's absolute mess, chaos, whatever you want to call it, but that's life of running a business, people. So in case you guys missed the last video, we just got a new upgrade for our ink system. We've had a very disorganized ink system for a long time, so I bought these very cool wire shelves that are gonna help us organize this. But the wire shelves are wide open, and we needed to come up with some kind of divider system so that all of our ink buckets were able to line up in there nice and stay organized. So I got to work and I designed these little divider walls. This is on a 5mm MDF. It's perfectly contoured to fit along the shape of the shelf. They're just gonna be held in with zip ties, but it's very, very strong. I already did a test piece last week and it is awesome. We have like 80 something of these things to install, which is probably gonna take a little while, and then we have to catalog all of our ink and organize it out so that you're able to recall exactly where it is on the shelf. So we gotta get to work because today is almost over. Okay, so we got one shelf done. This is the concept. We're gonna have all these nice, neat rows, and then we're gonna move on to labeling the lids of all the buckets. We're gonna label each shelf, each row, document where everything goes. We're also going to put matching labels on every single bucket, so later on we can recall where everything is on the computer really, really fast, and then when we're done with it, it can go in the same spot every single time. This is gonna be a little bit of a complex system to figure out, and it's gonna be a hell of a lot of work. Like how much time it took just to get these shelf dividers in there was quite a bit. I think between two of us, it took us like 30 minutes to get all these in there, but I mean, this is the worst of it. So once it's all done, it's gonna be very easy to keep this system going and keep it updated. And yeah, it's just a matter of getting the initial work done. But today really got away from me with all the clients and stuff showing up, equipment showing up, all the stuff that we did today. The day, you know, ran out real quick. So this is gonna be tomorrow's problem. Okay, so we shot an entirely different video yesterday. It's gonna be a good one, but we are back on the ink shelf. Me, Jordan, and Ed already knocked out all of our MDF cutouts in this thing. We zip tied them all in. They're super sturdy. This system is gonna work really, really good. This thing looks good. So today we just have to figure out the organization of this thing. So the plan here is to label these things. We're gonna have rack 1, rack 2, we're gonna have shelf 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think it's up to 9 rows in here. We're doing that so when in the future we have more of these racks, that way we don't have like, you know, this entire row as like shelf 1, because if we move these racks or rearrange them, then we'd have to change everything that we have in the computer system to find our inks. So we're just gonna kind of preemptively go at that now, so that way in the future we're prepared. And then yeah, we'll nicely label everything and make this thing look good. But the first thing that we have to do is go through all of our Pantone colors and get them all out of this shelf onto the floor, count everything, figure out how they're gonna group and where they're gonna go on this shelf, and just, you know, start building from there. That's gonna be the hardest part, so let's get at it. Okay, so we got them all out of the shelf and counted in. We have 227 Pantone colors mixed, which is pretty good on my estimate. My estimate was somewhere around 200 to 220. And in between these two racks, we have enough room for 360, if my math is correct. So we should be able to get, you know, every color in here, get them kind of spaced out, leave a gap of like 2 or 3 rows between each one to give us a little bit of room for growth, and still have room left over. Again, this is if my math is correct. I only made it to 10th grade in school, so who knows on that one. So next up, we're just gonna make some really quick makeshift labels for the shelf, just like some painter's tape and a marker before I make some nice ones. That way we can kind of get the layout of what these things are gonna be, and we're gonna start putting the colors in. And as we put the colors in, we're gonna label the tops of the buckets as well so they can see it from a distance. And then we're also gonna mark it down on our sheet where every single one goes in the system, and then that way we're ready to go to start entering them in the computer later. I don't know if that makes sense. It only half makes sense in my head, but you'll see when we're done. It's gonna be good. All right, we're halfway there. We got all the ink in the shelf now. That took way longer than I thought it was going to. It literally took us all day to get to this point. But like I said, we're only halfway. I gotta make some nice labels for all this stuff, make it look pretty. I gotta enter it all in the computer so the system works, and then I can show you what we did here. I was only able to completely finish one rack because I ran out of those little plastic clippy things that I've been using for the labels, but still, you'll get the idea. Let's check out what we did. Okay, so for starters, we have over 220 Pantone mixes on this thing, which it doesn't look like it, but man, this shelf packs stuff in here very, very efficiently. We also left open gaps of 2 to 3 rows between each color. That gives us room to expand and mix more colors. These two racks will hold up to 380 colors on them, not using the top shelf on it, which I don't think I want to use. I want to use that for storage. So with room for around around 160 more colors, I think it's safe to say that I'm not gonna need another rack for a little while. You never know, but I mean, I've been doing this for 5 years and this is all the Pantones that I've mixed so far, so I think it's gonna take a while to get there. But the best part about this system is everything is labeled and super easy to recall. So we've got rack 1, rack 2 labeled, we've got shelf 1, 2, 3, 4 labeled, and then rows 1 through 9 on each shelf labeled nice and neat, nice and clean. Also, you can see all the Pantones from up top, and we have these little labels on top that show exactly what row, what shelf, what rack these things go on, so that way when you take them out, when it's time to put them back, they go in the same spot every single time. And then to make this system more awesome, all of these Pantones are now cataloged in a Monday board. So if you're looking for a Pantone, you pull out your phone, jump on the laptop back there, type in the Pantone. Let's say we're looking for Pantone 185C. You type it in the search bar and you can see that it's in rack 1, shelf 3, row 6. This system is going to cut down on so much wasted time in my shop. No longer are we going to be looking for Pantones, and no longer will anyone have to guess where they go back on the shelf. We're going to know where these things are at all times, and if they're not there, there's a serious problem that we need to address. I think this is my favorite shop improvement so far. That ink shelf was driving me batshit crazy for a very, very long time, and this system is just beautiful to look at, super easy to work with. I can't wait to get this into our day-to-day workflow. But the next thing that I have to figure out is what to do with our mixing inks, and I have a very cool idea for this as well, so you're gonna have to stick around to see exactly what that is and how we improve that. Make sure you click the thumbs up button on this video for me, subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you again in the next one. You know, stickers and whatnot, because we got some trucks showing up here that we gotta put some graphics on. Right. Fuck, I fucked it up at the end. Yeah, just fucking the double gargler.